For this scramble I did the blue pseudo V, which was one move away. So I started by tracking this piece, seeing this edge was flipped, and I saw that this would be this case. So you can see here this edge is flipped and this one's kind of like opposite, so which is solved like this. So what I did was that I did the R, and then I just did the L for V, and then did the setup move, and then tips.
Yuck. Okay, so for the first one, I went with the pretty straightforward solution here. Didn't go for anything fancy, just a B prime to solve, and I noticed that that edge would be solved, so it's going to be a 2-flip here, as you can see with that. And then it sets up to this easy top, so I would have done the tips at the start, and then just I would have done it like that. And that was a sludge, AUF, rotate, and 2-flip.
So for this level I did the green V, which was super easy. So I saw that I could insert this in here and get a 3 cycle because this one was solved. And I also saw that this piece wouldn't be opposite here, so I knew I had the normal insert, which looks like this. So I did that. So I started off by like sewing the tips, sewed that, and then just inserted.
God dang. For the second scramble, I went for this Oka top, and I went for this because I knew that it was going to be a 4-mover, so I did the 2 tips. Essentially just solve the center, and then I'm going to do Oka to solve those, rotate, and then 4-mover.
So for this scramble I did red V, and I saw that I could put this block in with 1 move, and then inserting this one into here, which ends up here. But I also saw that while doing that, this piece is solved, and this piece gets moved to the top over here, and this piece is relatively unaffected. It ends up back here. No, just kidding. Here, but it ends up back here, and therefore I saw that I had this L3 case, which is just an insert. So I started off by sewing my tips, and then like that, and then I had this L3.
$173. For the third scramble, I went for a bell solution, and I knew that it was also going to be a 4-mover because this right here, this edge, since it's the one that's matching like the bottom color here, it's going to be a 4-mover moving like this, and it's going to like, these two are going to be the ones that don't have a bar. So what I can do is I can essentially go like this and set up to this to that bell. So to this bell case, so I'd set up like that, do a sludge, rotate, and then that 4-mover, and then that last tip.
So for this scramble I did red, and I saw that I could like put in this center and then solve this edge. But I also noticed that while doing that, I see that these two are matching and these two are not, so that means I have a polish flip because this edge is flipped. So I started off by sewing the tips, then doing this, rotated, and I knew straight away that I had polish flip from back here, so I had to do a U and then do the case. I did like that, and then like that.
180. So for the fourth scramble, I saw that I could lift this center up while solving these two. So I probably just did top tip like that. And then Oka. So now I'm setting up to this 1-flip case like that. AUF, rotate, and then we've got a sludge and 2 tips.
So for this scramble I saw a couple of solutions actually. Both were on yellow. And that was that I could do the V in 2 ways, in a certain order. And that was by putting in this edge first over here and then solving the center, or the opposite where you solve the center first and then put in this edge. And as I saw, if I put in this center first, like that, I'll get a polish flip. But I noticed that if I did like this, I would get a 4-flip. And I generally want to avoid the 4-flip, so what I did was I tried this piece to see that I had a Polish flip, and this one was unaffected, and this one was flipped, so I knew straight away. So I just started off by sewing the tip, and then doing like this. And since I already knew that I had the Polish flip from this angle, I just did the AF beforehand, and then just solved it.
$185. And then for the last scramble here, I went for something that wasn't very efficient. As you can tell, a lot of these solutions weren't efficient. I just thought I could get good times on them. So I did the tip, and then I went for Oka, or an Oka away, what you would use an Oka to solve these two. So then I'm left with this one flip, like that. And I probably would have regripped as I'm rotating down to go, and I'd do something like that.